So guys, what I want to talk about today is actually just about you. So I want to know from you what your struggles are. So if you are an entrepreneur, what is the struggles that you're having? What are those pain points that you really would like resolved? So this could be a lot of reasons. This could be you don't know where to start, or you can't come up with an idea. All of these things could stop you. You might have an idea that you want to make money online, but you're not sure where you want to go, what area you want to run into. And so this can be a real big stumbling block for you. What I would say to you is just try to find something that you're passionate about. So if you're passionate about and you're knowledgeable about a subject, you've usually become knowledgeable because you've been interested in that subject. So it would stand to reason that you would know a lot of information about that particular topic. So that's a good place to start. But what about, okay, so I know a little bit about this. I'm not an expert in it, but I've just done this thing and I kind of know people's problems because I've gone through a lot of it. So do I need to get to that expert level before I start trying to, do this? Either launch a new product or do a course or a membership. Do I need to be an expert in that? Well, no, not really, because if you're teaching people that don't know the information you're supplying, you're teaching them at whatever level. It doesn't make any difference in that respect. Obviously, if you're trying to teach them something advanced and you don't know about it and you're making it up, then it's a problem. But if you're teaching from your own personal experience, and most of us are, then it's valid. It's all valid information. So those two things I've covered there is what do I teach? Be something passionate about. So can I teach that? Yes, if you've got that experience. You just make sure that course is for people that are under you. So if you're an intermediate level, you'll be teaching to beginners. By the time you're learning all the time, and when you get the advanced level, you're teaching people that are intermediate level. So that's how it builds up. And it's quite funny because when you look at it in that respect, it makes a lot of sense because it's the same way that you market things. So you'd be like, what do you mean that's the same way you market things? Well, you're selling on. So you're starting somewhere to beginners, and you're an intermediate level, and then you move to an advanced level, and you're selling to an intermediate level. It's exactly the same way that you market, because if you're marketing something, you're marketing it, and when you've got people into that one thing, you're selling them the next thing. So you see how it fits together? So it doesn't have to be a complicated subject. Many people will tell you that marketing or course creation or being an entrepreneur in general is a complicated thing. But actually it's not. It's you have something that you can teach. You just need somewhere to put that information, and then you need to tell people about that information and leave it to the individuals to make their mind up whether they want to buy it. And that's it. And that's it in a nutshell. Of course there's complexities, split testing, a particular market niche, targeting an audience, adverts, there's all these things. But in its own nutshell, that's it. You're teaching something other people don't know, you're shouting about it to get people to buy into it, and that's it. In one paragraph you could sum up the whole process. And this would go across the whole remit. This would go for people that are prototyping or concepting new products to launch into their shops, or on Etsy, or on Amazon, wherever, or to a big store. It's the same thing. They're shouting about the product. This will help these people. So what are you doing by actually providing something? You're actually easing and helping people's pain points. Well, that's what we're doing now. So we're talking about where you start and your pain points and how you can move forwards. And I'm drawing on this through my own experience. So putting it into a plan, you've got this thing that you're passionate about, you're planning out, and there's lots of marketing goals to tell you. You can plan, you can make sure you've got all the content, you find a platform to put it into, to deliver it, and then you're shouting about it, but you're making sure that that particular thing you're doing is addressing people's pain points, and you're telling those people how it's going to benefit them. What is their future going to look like after they've done your course or they're using your product? So I'll give you an example of on a product basis. I've got a Garmin watch, and I bought this watch because it had an app in there to put surfing on there to track your surfing. As it happens, it's not the best in the world, but it does track other things like your heart rate, and the GPS on it is quite good, so it does track the waves and the wave count and the calories and all these things. So it fits to a purpose, but it's kind of like, it was something that was, in a way, I think underdeveloped before they brought it out, but that's why I bought it. So it was addressing my pain point. My pain point was, I'd come back from surfing, like, how many waves did I catch today? What sort of distance was I travelling? And it's one of those sports where, unless you've got someone actually going out taking photographs, it's kind of, you don't get many photographs or videos of yourself, because no one can be bothered to, unless you pay them, to come down there and shoot video or photo from you, you know, especially when you're going out on cold winter's days and things like that. So having this kind of watch on that monitored all your progress and those sort of things was a really good thing. That was addressing my pain point. That was a pain point that I was thinking, I want to know these sort of figures and data. So you see how everything that you buy addresses pain points, even surfboards. So like, you start with a big one and you buy a short one, you go, oh no, I've gone down too quickly, it's not really addressing my pain point, I'll sell it and I'll buy something else that's a bit bigger. So, but it's taking me on that development journey. It's taking me from the beginner to moving through to intermediate, you know, and beyond, by addressing pain points as you're going. Like, I want to be able to do more on the surfboard. I don't want to be held back by the tools that I've got. So if you can look at it in those terms, with anything that you're bringing out, whether it be a product, whether it be an idea, whether it be a course or a membership or something you're going to teach, or anything in life, even if you're going for a job, you know, how is it going to help you? How are you going to move through these things? Then the planning side of it is just so important, but it's also the mindset. So we're covering a lot of stuff here, because your mindset needs to be positive, and it needs to be focused, it needs to be engaged, and it needs to be motivated. And you can motivate it by making sure that whatever you're doing, you're passionate about. That way it doesn't become a chore to motivate yourself to do it as a job. And this is where I come on to the percentage of people that actually make it as course creators and the people that don't. Because as you would expect, there'd be a very high number of people that just don't follow through. And the reason they don't follow through is maybe they've chosen the wrong subject, maybe it's they haven't got the sales, but mainly it's down to the perseverance and putting the time in to do it. A lot of people will say, well, I can teach this with my eyes closed, but I don't know anything about putting a website together. I don't know anything about marketing. I don't know anything about da-da-da-da-da. And actually, the tools online now are made so easy. If you look at the Zenler platform, for instance, very intuitive platform, you can pick it up, you can build your site, and you can build a course if you've got the content within a few hours. And it's not a hurdle, but you have the I can and I don't knows. And the I don't knows don't follow through. If I'm talking to you and you are I don't know, or I can't, or it's too complicated, try to wipe that from your head. Break it into easily digestible chunks and tackle them. Get re-motivated by your initial thought of being an online course creator or coming up with a new product. Get motivated with that. Put your passion into that. Put the time in to produce these things, and then you'll get there. But it's consistency. Consistency. Set yourself a time. Keep consistent with that time. Don't drop that time. And it might be hard, because you might have a day job. You might already be doing things, making money. Might be doing overtime. Might be a lot of work. Like, how do I fit this in? How do I make time for it? You have to make time for it. Success is not going to just happen to you like that. It's not going to. It's going to be a process that you're going to have to work with. Obviously, lots of people, most people are like, well, I want to make money really quickly. I just want to be instantly successful. And the most successful people, that is not the case. They've worked hard. You know, look at Bill Gates and stuff, the amount of work that he put in, the amount of thousands of hours programming, learning stuff, coming up with an idea, following through. These, you know, it's not an easy road, but it should be an enjoyable road or a journey. You might be really lucky. You might hit a niche that as soon as you set a social campaign up, it might just be like lightning and happen for you quite quickly. But I will say to you one thing: look at all businesses. If a business breaks even in 5 years, it's doing well. Okay, why would you think it would be any different for an online course or an online shop? People seem to think that just because you're online, that it all happens so much quicker. It does to a certain degree, but that's only if you have the knowledge to back it up, and that knowledge takes time to build. I don't know if you remember, there was a series called Joe 90. He used to plug a thing into his head, and then in a sort of ball thing that used to rotate around him, and then he would download all the information into his head, and then he would be like Joe 90. He would be like to fly a helicopter. But that doesn't happen in the real world. Well, not yet. Of course, we've got tools that can speed all this process up. Like nowadays, we've got the internet. It's got all the information we need. We can look things up really quickly. We've also got the advent of AI. It's certainly going to help us. It's going to speed our work up. It's going to stop that blank screen look, or that blank canvas. You know, it's going to be able to generate ideas for us really quickly, but based off of our own ideas. So we got an idea for something, we can put it in there, we can generate copy, and it gives us a starting place. Then we can tailor it, make it work for us, and use that copy and produce stuff really quickly. You know, we know that AI is going to start producing whole course syllabuses for it. In fact, it already does, creates course outlines. So it even gives us that to follow. And this is only going to get better and better to the point where you can actually get it to actually be you on camera. You know, it could be an AI you doing all the stuff on camera, doing everything perfectly by the book. You know, it will take the humanity away from it. I've done a podcast on this with Kirsty Vanderbilt about the human element inside of videos, which is still really important. And there's some things that AI are going to find really hard to do. They're going to get better and better, but it's a tool. It's going to help you. It's going to speed this process up, and that's what we want to do. So tell us your pain points. Tell us where you're stuck. Maybe we can do a podcast on it, a follow-up podcast on this for you course creators, but also you guys coming up with new products. Where are you stuck? And I'll give you an idea of a product. I was actually in a webinar. I was actually attending, but I was in a little focus breakout room, and we were to tell each other like what we'd done and what we were doing, and it was really funny actually, because most of the people in there were doing like courses or had products. They were marketing. They were taking something to market, and most of the people in there were quite inexperienced. But I came into it. I'm quite with decades of experience. I've got that experience behind me. So for me, it was interesting watching how the whole thing was working and new ideas, because I love new ideas all the time. But it was really interesting in this little breakout room, because this guy came on and he said, so I've got this product for my dog, and it was like a cream for the dog that stops the dog having the runs, you know, incontinence. I was like, wow, that's amazing. So what did you come up with that? He said, yeah, I kind of got all this herbal stuff and I put it together. And I was like, well, okay, that's good. He's going, but I don't know what to do. I don't know where to market it. I'm trying to find an investor. That's something that comes up all the time. I'm trying to find an investor, because you want to get an investor involved. So I'm like, well, if you're dealing with investors, you want them to put a lot of money into it and take a percentage, a large percentage. And, you know, are they going to be interested in that? I mean, have you got any, you know, is it all approved? Is it governmental approved by the health agencies to be able to use this cream on a dog? Oh, no. Oh, well, that's going to be a problem. So it's a home remedy. So you need some sort. You know, this is not my market at all. I know nothing about this stuff. I'm just thinking off the top of my head that, you know, surely there's got to, if you're putting any kind of cream on an animal, even on a human, it's kind of like you've got to have some sort of backing it up, some sort of certification. So I was like, well, that's something you definitely need. You know, the ingredients need to go in there, and it needs to be actually, you know, you need to patent it. You need to get these things. Oh no, I've not done any of that. And I was going on the other side of it. Why are you going to investors? Why are you not? Once you've got all that in place and you've got the packaging and it's all certified, then why are you not reaching out directly to places like veterinary surgeries? You know, dog trainers, people that might sell this as an affiliate for you. You know, why are you straight away reaching out to the investors to put money into it? You know, do you expect those investors to know all about animals and those sort of things? Most investors are investing in something because they're like, oh right, okay, we can put money into this because it's going to make us money, and this is just to get them started up with marketing. But you're still expected to do the work. So if you don't know about that, if you just think, oh, I just want to get an investment for this, and then I'll have the money to be able to do what? To take it forwards, which you're going to have to do yourself. So it's actually quite interesting, because you have to make sure that everything you're producing, whether it be a product, whether it be a course, all meets requirements. You know, it's like where you're selling, not have your terms, it's GDPR, all these things, you know, but you can build these things up slowly and learn them, but you need to know them. Unless you want to hand the whole thing over to someone else and say, look, I've created this whole thing and I want to give it to you, and you can just give me a small percentage of it. That's fine, you know, if that person wants to take that on. So make sure you're passionate, make sure you've got all of the bases ticked, especially if it's products that you're putting on animals or that things have been tested, that you have a marketing group with products, that you've actually tested all this stuff out. But if it's course related, which is a thing that I'm into myself, then make sure that you are addressing people's pain points going forwards. So guys, look, I've done this podcast, but this podcast is all about you. So with that in mind, if you want to fill in any of the questions, or you want to tell us, you want to comment on what you're stuck with, where you're stuck, I think we've covered a lot of it today. If we can get you on the road to starting, that's the biggest step. So guys, comment, write down your pain points. If this podcast hasn't helped you, hasn't motivated you and moved you forwards, then write down why. Okay? If it has, and it pushed you forwards, give us a thumbs up, like us, you know, write me an email. Let us know, because I need to know what you're stuck with, so that we at Zenler, we can help you. Okay? So Zenler is an all-in-one course marketing platform, but we supply all of our education areas, including outside the remit of the platform itself. We help people with marketing, with setting up YouTube or social channels. You know, we help people with all of that stuff, but because we know that if they've got a course with the platform, then they will actually be staying with the platform, and they will be successful, and they will tell people about the platform itself. This is the whole reason and the ethos behind Zen Learning, or Zenler. This has been another podcast by us at Zenler.